I'm Janet White, and I'm the Education Officer at Hancock County Community Foundation in Greenfield, Indiana.
And I am Katie Ottinger, and I am the Community Investment and Grants Officer at the Hancock County Community Foundation in Indiana.
My name is Carol Reynolds. I am the Finance and Programming Administrative Associate. I went to our leadership and said, you know, we're going to have to leave FIMs at some point. This can't continue. So we really need to think about if we're changing grants and scholarship software now, we need to think about going to a totally integrated system.
There was no way to connect with FIMs on any scholarship or grants program.
Yeah, and our previous software also just handled one aspect of the grant process. It was just the application phase, and then the rest of everything else was done outside of the system.
In some ways, it was a hard decision, but I'm certainly glad we went with Foundant.
With Foundant, not only are you getting an incredibly high level of expertise in software development, you're also getting, warmth and concern from them, and real caring about the work that we do, and the connection piece. And those three things together are just a perfect blend of support that help us do our work at the highest level possible. And I certainly share that with any other foundation or grant maker that approaches us and asks us about our experience.
Honestly, the conversion was so much easier than we expected. We expected, because we'd been in FIMS a long time, and we expected that to be very painful. We had planned to do side by side for at least a month. And after about 10 days, we kind of looked at each other and said, this isn't necessary. We don't need to do that. We can just move on. And I haven't opened FIMS since then.
I work primarily in GLM as a grant maker that kind of oversees a lot of our discretionary resources and granting those out. It obviously makes my world more efficient, my work more efficient, but I like the fact that it also is a really nice resource for our grantees as well. We have, they can log in and see their history of grant making from us. So I think that helps them, from year to year. We ask some of the same questions and they can just kind of copy that over. That's an amazing resource. It has the log of email history, so they can see, exactly what we corresponded with about a certain grant. It just offers a lot more features that makes life easier for them through the process. And I just love that. That's so key in what we want to be able to offer our grantees.
I love to be able to have the search function. So when I get phone calls from recipients or parents or schools about certain things, I can go into SLM and find out what should be happening. I can go into C-Suite and figure out what has happened, and then within a couple minutes, I can have an answer.
Our auditors absolutely love C-Suite. They have their own login. They can go in and look at whatever they want. They can jump to the scholarship and see the documentation. They can jump to the grant, see the documentation. We haven't even seen our auditors in person in the last 3 years. They do remote audits. And they will Zoom with us at the end of the audit to ask all of their due diligence stuff. And an audit is not an event on our calendars even so much anymore. It's just, oh yeah, that's happening next week.
We've talked a lot about, how the software's made our lives easier and more efficient. It's not because we're looking, oh good, man, we have extra time to kick our feet up, eat some pork rinds. Since we have implemented Foundant products, we have been able to do so much more, and we have gotten so much more involved in community leadership, community development. We've done grant making that I think we couldn't have done if we hadn't had these products. The amount of growth that our foundation has had since we've implemented these products is just astounding.
It really is, yeah.
I know you've talked about.
Yeah, we were just talking about yesterday, even about our endowment it seems like we were doing this and then all of a sudden this. And I bet if you put that line along our software journey, they would come close to overlap. I mean, because it's like everything because all of a sudden people had more time to do those things instead of just daily grind.
And the tools to support it as well, so we could do it right, is just so key. I mean, it's just amazing that the kind of conversations we're in now in our community and how we've been able to get more involved, and we there certainly wouldn't have been able to do some of these things without the products.
We hardly ever have calls because someone can't figure out how to work the software, and that used to be a very all-day thing.
Almost every one of our scholarships has different qualifications or criteria, and that really pulled things together. We didn't have people applying for things they had no hope of ever receiving, and that has really been awesome.
And the universal application, it's so great because it is a lower threshold. It doesn't look as intimidating to just answer 2 more questions, rather than, even if we could copy things into, you still have this application for every single process. Whereas now, if you qualify for 5 processes, you might only have 5 questions to answer. So it makes it more approachable for the student as well. If you look at the numbers of community foundations in Indiana that have transitioned to Foundant, you'll see that that's a trend. I mean, because everyone is saying, you need to do that.
Foundant's heart for the philanthropic sector enables us to do our work so much better. It energizes us more, the energy that you bring, the opportunities for connection with other Foundant users in the sector nationwide really helps us network and build our efficiencies by learning from each other. The content that Foundant offers as well to help continue our learning, not only with the software, but with trends in the philanthropic sector. Just that holistic approach that you guys bring and the menu of services that you offer really helps take our work to the next level.